Hey, baby. Jackpot!
Okay, fine.
All week long. Oh, hello, children. Bang, bang, bang goes the gavel. Good to see everybody. It's Wednesday. Wow, middle of the week already. I can't believe it. But I don't believe Judge Boyd ever knows what day of the week it is because it's always flowers and designer purses every single time in this courtroom. Good to have you. Please, before I get really annoying, like this video. We're going to check out different courtrooms across this great country of ours. Hopefully there'll be some good stuff going on, but you never know. If anything else, this is going to be an education. That's right. Put on your learning caps, kids. We're going to teach you something. Before I'm yelled at, I do not want to skip this. I will not skip this. It's there for everyone's need. Alan, good to see you. Bigfoot, not here. But look, I gotta. He calls me Mikey the Great. I mean, I've got to kiss his ass, right? Dallas Alice, good to see you. 5 days a week right here. If you're not watching on We Got a Case, that's the case exclusive channel. Please think about, go ahead and slap a good old like on that. We're going to jump on over here because I see something look kind of strange. Let's see.
You're here without counsel, and where are you at, sir?
I'm in Southport, sir. I was on my way I live in Ponce de Leon, and I was on my way to the Bay County Courthouse, and I broke down in
Florida.
Southport.
Chad
All right.
Bruce, everybody.
So how do you want to proceed with your case today, sir?
I'm not sure, sir.
I
talked to my probation officer. She told me
you have the right to it. Let me go through this. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you. Did you want an attorney to help you in this violation? You're facing apparently up to 5 years in prison, 5 years probation.
Well, I mean, that's what my mom said about my stepdad too. But
I didn't know it was that serious, sir.
Well, you're on felony probation. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's the legal maximum. That may not be what you get, but it's possible.
why are we only seeing such a
Yes, sir.
small
My
portion of her face?
She had asked for community control.
Well, does the state have an offer here?
Yes, it's to revoke his probation and be sentenced to 36 months and DOC with credit for 291 days.
Okay, so sir, they're asking that you serve 3 years in prison. That's the offer that's being extended.
He said, well, good luck catching me.
Reflect.
And Your Honor, Mr. Bruce, I believe, also had the public defender initially. And then he was given a notice to appear in this case, so they've not been appointed for that.
Look at that. Does anybody else think Chad Bruce is on the run?
46 total sentence points. So sir, under the scoring system, your minimum recommended sentence, if you're found to have violated your probation, would be 13.8 months, presuming the score sheet is correct. But you have the right to an attorney. Would you like an attorney to assist you in this matter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I guess I would. I was hoping I did pretty good, boss. I went Your Honor, I went 2 years, without no trouble.
Well, don't say anything about the violation right now. I'll reappoint the public defender.
Dave, good to see you.
Let me turn the score sheet to counsel. I presume that you wish to continue. All right.
3 years he's looking at.
We'll go ahead and reschedule this for the September date. So, sir, you need to get in touch with the public defender's office, who will be his assigned counsel. All right. So you need to get in touch with Mr. Pack, Mr. Bruce. And
That's what he said, Mr.
Keith
Pack.
can be your attorney to assist you in this matter. Get him the names, addresses, and phone numbers of any witnesses who may be able to assist you, and be prepared to talk to him about any alleged violations of probation you have.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Thank you.
And if you have any uncompleted tasks on
Gotta
your
make money how you
probation,
can these days.
if you can get some of those done and get it into your probation officer, that cannot hurt.
I understand, sir.
Mhm.
All right.
Bruce is on the
Thank you.
move.
Do you need contact information, Mr. Pack?
I feel like Bruce has changed the way he
All right, sir, what
looks,
phone number can you be
and
reached?
he doesn't
at when
want to
you're at home?
divulge it.
It's a
Hey, good to see you.
850-628-1320.
Somebody text Bruce and tell him to run.
850-628-1630, did you?
No, sir. No, sir.
Good
1320.
to see you, Carol.
1320.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did you read that back, Mr. Pack? Make sure we got it right.
Bud.
850.
Did you say that correctly?
Yep. 850-628-1320.
He's just laying low.
All right. So
Nice try,
gentlemen, be in touch
Bruce.
with each other.
Chad Bruce.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have anyone else on Zoom?
The judge
we have
almost
the probation
looks like
officer for
he's
the
wearing a
employee
disguise.
assessing.
Have you
I
guys
know
ever
our-
seen when Johnny
Bradley
Knoxville
Vernon.
dresses up as an old
Vernon on
man?
Zoom?
That's what it looks like.
here.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Vernon, I understand that your case has been continued 3 times to hire counsel. Do you have an attorney assisting you in this matter?
No, I don't. I'm having difficulties doing that. I just got an application fee from the public defender's office. I gotta fill it out today and send it back.
Uh, Let me inquire here, sir, and see if we can get this matter moving. You raise your right hand to be sworn.
Yes,
You're
sir.
wanting to get the public defender?
Yes, sir.
You understand there's a $50 application fee which should be paid within 7 days. At the end of the case,
sir.
if you're found guilty or if you plead guilty or no contest, there will be a fee assessed for the value of the attorney's services. However, you'll be entitled to a hearing about any the reasonableness of any fees that may be assessed.
Okay.
You
Yes, sir.
understand that?
Yes,
All right,
sir.
if you raise your right hand to be sworn, you swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, now you are appearing virtually with audio and video connection.
Vizio.
So, sir, please state your name.
Shouting out his favorite
Bradley
TV
Vernon.
brand.
And Mr. Vernon, are you employed?
Yes, sir.
Where?
What do you take home each pay period on average?
About 1,000
Enough to pay for
How
these
often?
crappy signs behind me.
weekly.
Ooh.
All right, how many dependents do you have?
1.
And his name is Mikey.
Yourself and one other?
And I give him
Yes.
$5 a day.
That-
Yes, my wife.
Thank you.
All right. Is she employed out of the household?
Glad no one else is injured.
No, she tries. She's trying to get her business going, but no.
All right.
Choose to the roost.
Would he qualify? All right. Sir, apparently you don't qualify. What kind of expenses do you have?
I pay all the bills for the household and my probation here, my probation in Florida.
Oh my God.
You have 2
So-
probations?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of fees are you obligated to pay for those?
Right now I'm paying $200 a month here. I'm supposed to be paying $500 restitution to Florida, but I've been flying each month and I just got this Zoom court. So I paid $1,200 in my airplane tickets alone. So it's, it's been a little rough. And it took me a while to
Well,
get my job back when I
so
got back
what-
out of
How
jail.
much are you
Sounds he's
supposed
been in a lot of
Hang on a minute.
trouble.
how much are you supposed to pay each month in obligated court costs in both your home state and here in Florida?
700 total.
Ooh, baby.
I find that he qualifies for public defender services. Went to public defender. All right. Well,
Texas Tim.
Your Honor, in line of the fact that he-
In case anybody doesn't
DOC
realize
offer,
we're
I
in
would ask
Florida
that we reset
right
this
now.
case
This is the
for
great
September
state of Florida.
21st to give the public defender time to look at the case.
All right. Sir, and who will be the assigned counsel? Mr. Pack is the assigned counsel, Gary Pack, sir. And so, Mr. Vernon, what is your home contact telephone number?
850-247-0878.
Can we see the mess? That's blessing.
You got that, Mr. Pack?
Or is it talking about
Read that back,
him?
please.
Is he the mess?
Correct, sir?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So be in
Yes,
touch with Mr.
yes,
Pack
Judge.
shortly to prepare a defense. And
Yes, Judge.
counsel, if you think that it's there's going to be a contested hearing, then well, under
Somebody
the
shaved off his eyebrows.
circumstances of the potential exposure, Mr. Vernon will need to be here in person. You understand that, sir?
Repeat that.
Yes, sir. If there is a contested hearing, or if you choose to admit the violation for the plea offer, you'll need to be here in person.
On the
I'm ordering you to
21st?
Be here in person. Yes, sir.
Can we do an October court date so I can have time to get my finances to get an airplane ticket and get down there?
State have any objection?
I think what we're doing right now is just setting it for September 21st to give your attorney time to look at it. And then if we set it for a contested hearing, he'll let you know that you need to be present for that.
Okay, that sounds good.
He's a jet
So
set
are we clear?
make
Can we
sure
do
we
another
probation
Zoom on the
officer,
21st? Sorry.
fantasy. This guy's constantly leaving the state. He's in probation.
State is suggesting.
That's fine with us as long as, because I don't believe we'll be ready for anything in the next month.
All
So
right. So you want to just set that as a tentative date and then set a firm conclusory date in October?
well, yes, sir. We'll set it just for the 9/21, and then if we need to set it for the 10 day, the October date after that, we'll be able
Just
to.
want to give Mr. Vernon his date so he knows what to plan for.
Debbie, what's the
Lobby.
October 19th? If we go to October, it would be October 19th for the date.
We want to set that in the morning.
For
Yeah.
October.
No coincidence there, huh?
If we go to October, it would be an afternoon date because it'll be contested. September would be the morning date.
And
What time? 9 o'clock?
it'll be, yes, sir. You need to be here at 9
I don't think
o'clock.
he does.
Or by Zoom on September 21st.
I don't think he does.
Okay, Zoom. Okay, perfect.
He's just one of those guys that's like tatted up and
Okay, you're going to
stuff.
appear by Zoom
shaves
on
everything
September
off.
21. What time is he going to appear on
Okay.
October 19th?
It would be the afternoon at
Smooth as a
1:30.
At
for the
1:30.
contested docket.
I don't know if you can get a plane schedule or make transportation arrangements to be here at around noontime or 1 o'clock in the afternoon that day. But
Oh,
that's the time you need to be here in court.
Yes, sir.
All right? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
that's why I keep a
Thank
porch
you.
light on in my house every
Get in
night.
touch, within
So somebody doesn't steal
this week
our
with
catalytic
Mr. Pack.
converters.
You need to call one another and
I
talk
sure
about
will.
your case.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
John
May I
Russell
be
Martin.
excused, Judge?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
John Russell Martin.
Thank you.
Wow. Alice.
And Your Honor, Mr. Martin, this is John Russell Martin. He is
Martin.
currently not represented. The state's offer, if he's eligible, once he's screened, would be to complete the Keaton program and aftercare, which would be a bars to bed program. So I don't know if Mr. Martin wants to get an attorney at this point to represent him, or if he just wants to continue to September 21st to see if he is eligible for Keaton.
So you apparently
Perfect
have
reasoning there.
2 cases here where you're on probation. And what are the degree of offenses on the
Thank you.
2978 case?
On the 2978, it was possession of methamphetamine, so it's a third-degree felony punishable up to 5 years in prison. And on the 21 CF 2535, it was burglary of a structure, also third-degree felony, which would be punishable up to 5 years in prison.
Oh, sir, you could be facing a maximum of up to 10 years in prison on this matter or these matters. You're here for violation of probation. You've heard the offer from the state. You do have the right to an attorney. Do you want an attorney to assist you in this matter? Can you
Yes.
afford to hire counsel?
With the bills, I haven't had a household. I'd ask the court for a public.
If you could step in front of the mic so we can make sure we have.
I'd like to ask the court for a public.
Raise your right hand to be sworn, sir. Your other hand. You swear firm testimony you give
The
the
other
truth,
right.
whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, and state your name, sir.
John Russell Martin?
Mr. Martin, are you employed?
Yes.
And what do you take home each pay period on average?
Every
You
2
just
weeks,
left.
maybe $1,000.
And how many dependents do you have?
I have 2 dependents.
All right, and how does he qualify?
Are they dogs?
With public defender.
Meth and breaking and entering. Really not the smartest thing. By the way, Alex,
Do you have
Creed
any
said,
objection?
No objection.
All right.
if Alex comes
So
around,
we
don't
meet
tell him
with
where I'm at.
Mr. Pack. We'll continue the case until the September 21st date.
What he
Is
said.
that right?
Yes.
At 9 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Martin, if you have any uncompleted tasks remaining on your supervision, if you get them done and report that to you, will be taken into account
Thank you,
at
Dave.
the time of the hearing.
I have 2 classes left on my,
You can get them done.
but I don't really want to get out of care. I just keep going every week. I get on the call every week at Tuesday, it helps me out. So
Well, good for you. Get those classes done. Let your probation officer know about that. Let your attorney know about it, and be back in court September 21.
He looked a little old to be having dependents. I mean, I don't want to be judgmental. Maybe he got somebody pregnant in the last 18 years, but he looked kind of old.
Yes, we have the probation officer for the open plea, but I don't know if we had any, those were the only ones I was aware of that we could resolve quickly before we took the open plea.
Very well. Let's deal with the open plea matter then next.
I don't know if they know of any quick ones.
I thought it was pretty good. He's like, step in front of the mic, raise your right hand, your other hand.
Okay, thank you.
Alex,
Good morning.
don't tempt fate. I might do it, and
Sorry,
then you
can't hear
don't
you.
show up, and
Couldn't through the
everybody's like,
mic.
"Damn, Mikey put Alex on
Pull the
blast."
microphone toward you. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Dingus on behalf of Jenica Fletcher, who's to my right here. It's my understanding she's
Jennifer.
going to revoke her previously entered plea of not guilty and make an admission of the allegations set forth in the violation of probation affidavit. There's no dispositional understanding with the state or the court on this. She's been advised she could get up to 10 years in state penitentiary,
Actually, she can get up to 15 years.
15 years.
That guy looks 61. I'm not gonna lie.
We have the probation officer who's going to speak to that lesser.
All right. And what does the score sheet state?
The lowest permissible sentence on the score sheet is 21 months based on her criminal history and her current offenses, up to 15 years in prison.
So, ma'am, what that means for your analysis and decision is that if this score sheet is correct, that unless you present recognized mitigation, which the court finds persuasive, you would have to receive at least the minimum 21 months in prison, as I understand it. And
Oh
could be
yeah,
up to 15 years.
we
Okay.
could start a jug band
And
with
what are
her.
the alleged violations?
She had a failure to pay fines. There's a question about whether she had the ability to do that, but most importantly, she had a positive UA methamphetamine. And that was back in October of last year, is that correct?
No, the dirty UA was April, Ms. Ashbrook. Was it in
Yes, April 6th.
Oh,
It
Miss
was right
Ashbrook.
when it was like my 20th day out of jail. I was incarcerated for 13 months.
The last violation alleged is a failure to do community service hours as directed. So it's,
Also tell you to go to NA or AA.
I've been doing my NA and AA online, and I have started community service down at St. Andrews Marina.
Okay.
I'm also enrolled in care classes.
All right, ma'am. So is she entering what sort of plea or?
open plea. There's no dispositional understanding, Judge.
All right. So ma'am, you wish to enter a plea on the charges, knowing that you could face the 21 months in prison possibly? Shaking your head, yes.
Yes, sir.
Just so the court knows, there's been an offer made and rejected by my client for 24 months DOC.
All right.
Ooh,
Ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
she
Do you
just
swear affirm
rejected a
testimony you give
24
will be
month.
The truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
And speak up loud and clear, state your name.
Jenica Fletcher.
And Ms. Fletcher, did you hear me explain the hearing rights to the people who entered a plea earlier this morning?
Yes, sir.
I need to go over those rights again for you.
No, sir.
And I've got a plea form here. Is this your signature on it?
Yes, sir.
And you read all of it?
I'm sorry.
Did you read all the form?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do you have any questions about any of your rights?
Yes, sir.
You understand all of your rights.
Yes, sir.
You understand you're giving up the right to a violation hearing, the right to make the state prove guilt by the greater weight of the evidence to each of these allegations of violation, the right to bring in your own witnesses and make them come to court by court order. if
Sound
they
like
would
she's
not do it
going to prison,
voluntarily.
guys.
The right to have your lawyer confront or question any witnesses who might testify against you. The right to present any defenses or legal challenges you might have. The right to testify or stay silent as to criminal law violations. And the right to appeal whether you were guilty if you were found guilty and you thought that was an error.
Yes, sir.
You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about any of that?
She is truly
Please answer out
blessed.
loud.
No, sir.
All right. And do you understand you're giving up all those rights by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
So you're giving up your right to the hearing, all the hearing rights, and the right to appeal guilt, but you keep the right to
She's
appeal
a-
fundamental issues or issues.
Is there
on
any way she
sentencing
doesn't get at least
merit. And if you
24
have enough
months?
time to talk to your attorney about your decision.
Yes, sir.
And are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone promise you anything to get you to plead?
No, sir.
You understand a straight up plea means you're leaving it to the court to determine a proper sentence. And once again, unless the court finds that mitigation is presented sufficient to justify a departure, you'd have to get at least 21 months.
Yes, sir.
All right, could be more, could be up to the 15 years theoretically. Understand that?
Yes, sir.
All
You
right.
could get
And
15
have you been
years.
threatened or made to plead when you don't
Why didn't
want
you
to?
take the 24
Yeah,
months?
they medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours? Ever been committed to a mental health facility?
No, sir.
So tell me about failing to pay the fine in this case.
Well, the past, okay, I was put on probation February of 2020. When I got out, I was living with my
When
aunt,
did you get out?
February of 2020.
Okay, right before COVID.
Right, right. COVID was going on. I was living in Ponce de Leon, driving back and forth to work every day in Bay County. So I was driving an hour to work and an hour from work. I was
They
helping my
kind of
aunt
set
pay
her up
bills.
for failure. I'm not
My
gonna
father
lie.
or my daughter's father had just passed away. So, I wasn't getting child support. It was not that easy of a time. I violated February of 2021, and then I spent 13 months incarcerated, and I got out in March.
Okay. Between February of 20
Exactly,
and February
Kenny.
of 21,
Exactly.
did you have an ability to pay?
Not really, no, because I wasn't getting the income that I was used to, and then I had the added traveling expense
Right.
going back and forth to work, and I didn't work as regular,
How much did you lose in child support with the death of your daughter's father?
$1,000 a month.
And how much did you have?
What do you
What was
mean?
your income at that time?
Oh gosh, it would vary on the month because sometimes we could, work jobs and sometimes we would have to, hold
What
off
work
because
did you do?
I paint interior and exterior.
Say it again.
I'm a painter, a residential interior and exterior painter.
Okay. So what were
That's
you
tough work.
averaging per pay period at that time?
Gosh, anywhere from $200 to $400 a week, maybe.
Okay. How was business during COVID?
It was not that great because some homeowners wouldn't let us in the house because of COVID. So it would get put off until they could get out of the house. We could go
But
in
you were
and
able to do some work.
some work, yes.
The only downside, she's got a
So,
kid.
and what were your monthly bills?
Me and my aunt halved all the bills. We have the electricity,
What was your obligation?
half of all the bills. So
What did that average per month?
The electric bill usually ran about 300, the water bill about 75, and her mortgage was 650.
And you took half of that,
Yes,
all right? So that's roughly somewhere in the
650,
neighborhood
nice.
of $500. Did you have at least $500 a month?
yes.
And,
Pay the bills, yes. And then I had to pay the insurance on the truck. And I was paying off the truck. I bought a truck from her.
Did you have any cash left at the end of the month?
No, I was on food stamps.
Okay. And do you smoke?
Occasionally,
All right. Were you at that time?
sometimes.
And did you have, internet or cable or anything?
My aunt has Wi-Fi because she does her business online.
And you helped pay for that?
Yes,
All right. And how
Do
about
you
any
smoke?
phones or anything?
I paid for my own phone bill and my daughter's.
And that was a cell phone?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how old is your daughter?
She's 14.
And you
Mm.
paid for her cell phone.
Yes,
And so how old was she back then?
she was 12 back then.
Did she have a phone back then?
Yes,
All right. And so at the end of the month, did you have any cash left over?
no,
Tell me about the urine sample. You said it was in April 22.
yes, sir. I just got released out of Bay County Jail. The guy I was with, kind of let me fall flat on my face. I got out, I was homeless.
We couldn't live with your aunt anymore.
No, she moved to Georgia.
Big pardon?
She moved to Georgia,
You moved to Georgia. Where had your daughter been in the meantime?
Full
in
D
Georgia.
at
With
least.
your aunt?
No, with her father's, well, she was with my dad the first 6 months, and then he had to go to Nevada to work. And he left her with her dad's brother.
Okay.
So her aunt and
Same.
uncle on her dad's side.
And what did you use?
I'm sorry,
What did you use?
methamphetamines.
You know how toxic that garbage is?
Yes, sir.
Why would you ever do something like that?
You regret that, right?
I'm sorry.
You regret the decision to do that?
Yeah, of course.
No. Tell me about not doing your community service work. Well, during COVID,
I think you're right,
before
Viking.
you went to jail.
I don't know.
Just didn't do it?
Well, no, not that I just didn't do it. It was hard to get there because being in Ponce de Leon and then, having to go back and forth to work. I mean, I would leave the house sometimes at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I wouldn't get home till, 7 or 8 at night if I worked that day.
Wouldn't you
Okay,
have
how about
time
the
for
days you
meth?
didn't work?
The days I didn't work, I would help my aunt around the house. She has an autistic son, and I would help her with him as well.
You didn't
Vending
take time
allowed.
to try to schedule some of that community service work?
I asked my probation officer, and she would, at that time, I had a different one. She would tell me that she would, we'll get up with it next time, and we just never ended up,
Thank you, Sharon.
she would never give me the list.
Okay, so you
'Cause
never
it was,
had
it
anywhere
was
to go.
Collins. We wouldn't go into the office.
Okay. And tell
You
me
got
about
it, son.
not attending NA or AA up until the time you went to jail.
Again, I mean, I didn't know where to do them at. It was during COVID. I couldn't even do care classes because of COVID. They canceled my care classes because of COVID.
Understand? Well, to the extent that no classes were available, even virtually, at that time,
I wasn't told anything about them being virtual back then.
did you call NA or AA to see?
I think so,
No, I just
Tricia.
asked my probation officer.
Okay, and were you aware of virtual stuff being done
No, not
Anywhere?
then.
for any reason?
No, I mean, Miss Ashbrook has told me, and I'm doing my NA virtually now in the rooms.
No one ever told you about the possibility of doing your meetings
She's
virtually
partying.
back then.
They never mentioned that to me.
All right. Well, ma'am, to the extent you may have any defenses on some of these matters, including an inability to pay or inability to do or not being informed of where to do any community service work, or not being informed of any alternatives like virtual appearance for NA or AA, you're giving up those possible defenses. You don't apparently have any defense on the positive urine sample. But do you understand you're
Got a
giving
nice
up those
face.
possible defenses on those other matters?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You have 3 matters that may have possible defenses.
Yes, sir.
On the fine, you may have a defense of inability to pay. On the community service work, you said the probation officer you had at the time never told you where you could go do your service. So you didn't know where to do it. And on the NA or AA stuff, even though with COVID, it said nobody ever told you and you didn't ever find out or think about virtual attendance at any meetings.
Right, I was never informed that we could do it virtually.
Exactly. I heard you say that. Those may be possible defenses to those allegations. It does not appear that you have any defense whatsoever to the positive urine sample issue.
Correct. Correct.
So the point is, you're entering an admission to each of these violations. To do so, you would have to waive any possible defenses you might have to those 3 where there may be a defense available. You understand that?
What do you mean I have to wait? No, I don't understand that. I'm confused now.
Well, Councilman, talk with her about it.
Confused.
Basically, what the court is saying is you may have some certain defenses to some of the allegations there. If you enter this plea, you're giving up your right to challenge those.
Okay.
But you realize that admissions of guilt, he's looked at more favorably than the court having to make a formal adjudication.
Okay.
Shows acceptance of responsibility by you.
The issue is there's maybe defenses here that you give up if you want to admit to all these violations.
Okay.
Are you
Is that what
taking,
you
are
wanna
you
do,
taking
ma'am?
ownership of the violations?
Yes.
Do you think that's best? You seem hesitant about that.
One of the things the court can
Council,
consider.
let me just see if I can clear this up.
Sure.
And Ms. Lee, there is a
Let's do it.
violation here with no defense, apparently.
That's correct.
Do you think that's sufficient in the face of these other
No, sir,
issues?
not if we're doing an open plea and you're going to be sentencing her, then she needs to understand she's entering an admission to all of those because of the fact that she has a record of violating probation. And I'm going to argue that for sentencing purposes.
We're going to argue that the need for treatment outweighs the need for punishment in this case. It's a listed mitigator.
Well, the point is, she doesn't have to plead to matters where she has defense. And I
Mm.
was inquiring whether the state would be willing to go forward on the one that has no defense. Or do you want to address the other issues?
No, sir, I believe that she has violated in all of those conditions.
All right, so you can either have a contested hearing about those violations or an entered admission.
I'll enter an admission.
So
And I'll find your plea on these matters to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently.
Going
made
in
with
hot.
sufficient Actual basis to support the violations and any possible defenses to allegations 1, 3, and 4, as I understand them to be numbered, are voluntarily waived. All right, and we have a score sheet, as I said, with
the funnest.
it apparently has 56 total sentence points. This is, I guess, the third violation.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, that gives a minimum recommended sentence of 21 months. Is there any objection to the number on the score sheet?
No objection to the number. We object to the lowest permissible.
All right. And the state have any mitigation you intend to, I'm sorry, defense have any mitigation you intend to offer?
Yes, we were going to call the probation officer.
All right. Probation officer, if you raise your right hand to be sworn, please. You swear affirm testimony you give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All right. Probation officer is appearing virtually, both audio.
Will they
and
hit the
video.
21 months or will it be more than that? The minimum
Donna
is
Ashbrook.
21.
Donna
Work
Ashbrook,
for probation, you work for probation and parole?
I do.
Are you Jenica Fletcher's, where were you at the time of the violation? Were you her supervisor?
I was her officer.
Okay. You authored a violation report that the court has a copy of, correct?
Correct.
What was
Ooh,
your
maybe.
recommendation to the court as far as the disposition in this case?
The recommendation was modifying it and serving the remainder of supervision on drug offender probation.
Is that the same recommendation you make today?
Yes.
Tell the court why she thinks she'd be a good candidate for probation.
It seems like she's fine. It took her a while, but it seems like she maybe finally has gotten everything on track. She is enrolled in care. She is attending the AANA meetings, and I have drug tested her since the April drug test, and she has been negative.
Was there some confusion with her, to your knowledge, with reporting in during the period of time that the courthouses were closed in this circuit? COVID. I know
I'm sorry.
that. Your knowledge, is there some,
Finish your question, counsel.
was there any
Spit it out.
knowledge by you about her difficulties to report in during the COVID shutdown down at the courthouse?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know, reporting into where.
Well, that's the whole point. Where was she supposed to report to?
I don't have her failing to report anywhere.
Do you think the need for treatment here outweighs the need for incarceration?
Yes, in my opinion.
Tell us what you base your opinion on.
That face.
Well, she has she went through the Lifeline program, and she's currently in aftercare. So the aftercare was a little slow getting started, but since she has been enrolled, and again, her drug tests have been negative. So hopefully,
So she's been compliant since around when would you say she started complying?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
When would you say that she started complying?
After the violation was filed.
That's been what, about 6 months, February?
You think Clara dyes her hair?
April. That was in April.
April, okay. All right, those are all the questions I have.
Ross?
Ms. Ashbrook, have you been Ms. Fletcher's probation officer during the entirety of her supervision since February of 2020?
No.
Also, you can pull that mic a little closer. I don't think she could hear you.
And Ms. Ashbrook, when you took over the supervision of Ms. Fletcher, did you review all of her past supervision history and her violations?
Did we lose her? Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There
Hello,
you go.
yoo-hoo.
Okay. I'm trying to pull up when I actually started supervising her.
You don't have that wrote down? Good possibility. No, she's not. She's a little past her time. She should probably just, pack it in, retire. She made some bad investments. She's addicted to theme parks. I mean, she has to keep it up, She has to keep working. And so do you. Like this video.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Lee, what was your question?
Did you review her supervision history and her violation history when you took over her supervision?
Yes. When we get the case, when I was first assigned to her case, I transferred her to another county. And then I didn't get her back until she got out of Lifeline.
But you've gone back through her file and read everything and reviewed everything, correct?
To the best of my ability, yes.
She tries.
So Ms. Ashbrook, you're aware that she has been given multiple times to complete substance abuse while still out in the community. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she also had the opportunity to stay out of prison by completing a lifeline in the facility, in the jail, and then remain on probation after that and stay out in the community. And she again failed to complete probation during that as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Prosecutors
and as far as her initial plea that happened on February 27th of 2020, is that correct?
Objection, I don't understand the question.
Who's asking about the original plea in 2020?
She was placed on probation with your office in February of 2020, correct, Ms. Ashbrook?
No.
Hold on.
Can we ask her to do jumping jacks to prove she's sober?
Yeah, she was placed on probation February 27th of 2020.
And approximately 2 months later, the Department of Corrections Probation Office submitted a technical letter of violation to the court. Is that correct?
What is she doing?
Just a second. Let me look at my file.
Is she really looking at a file?
That is correct.
And what was that technical letter of violation for, to point out to the court?
She was unsuccessfully discharged from substance abuse treatment.
And does it have a reason as to why she was unsuccessfully discharged?
unexcused absences.
And was any action taken against the defendant at that time?
No,
So she was allowed to remain in the community even though she had violated the terms of her probation at that point. Is that correct, Ms. Ashbrook?
that is correct.
Never made an appointment.
And then in February of 2021 was another violation of probation affidavit submitted to the court.
Yes.
And what was that violation affidavit for?
She
It
calls her
appears-
Ashcroft, but that's not what it says up here. We got the wrong name on this lady. And she's drinking some Zimpf Hills water up there. Good for her.
New law violation,
And what was the new law violation?
possession of methamphetamine and possession of paraphernalia.
And then as a result of that new charge, she entered a plea in October of 2021. Is that correct?
Correct.
And she was again placed back on probation. Is that correct, Ms. Ashbrook?
Yes, that's when she was sentenced to lifeline and aftercare.
Right, and the aftercare was to be completed on probation out in the
She gotta look in
community,
the-
correct?
Refrigerator in a minute.
And that is the current violation we're on now for the positive UA for methamphetamine, correct?
Correct.
And the failure to attend the NA and AA that she was ordered to complete.
Correct.
And at the time that you made your recommendation, were you aware of the sentencing guidelines on the criminal punishment score sheet?
I'm going to object to that. That document speaks for itself.
Just asking if she was aware of it, overruled.
Damn. It ain't going well.
Yes.
And did you take into account in your recommendation for your sentence what the score sheet reflected?
Gary!
Yes, but I just felt like she was finally got a stable place to live, and she had finally got a job, and I was going to give her another chance.
And she'd already previously had 2 chances before that, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Redirect.
Yes, briefly. Ms. Bird, where was your office operating out of during the period of time during COVID? Was it the brick and mortar building you're in now?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Sir, talk into the microphone, please.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I thought you said Miss Bird. I'm sorry.
Where were you working at during the COVID shutdown?
We were working in the office, and we were also could telework some. So we were in the office.
Did my client tell you about her problems?
Laura
where-
went
where-
Florida.
Driving to and from Ponce de Leon every day.
No, I didn't have permission.
I know that.
I didn't, I wasn't her officer.
No problem.
Okay. Tell the court again, in light of all this,
Talk toward the microphone. I'm sorry. I know we got,
tell the court if you would, with knowledge of everything the state asked you about, why you think she'd be a good candidate for reinstatement
It's asked and answered, Your Honor.
overruled.
May I speak?
right now.
You may answer, ma'am.
As I stated, she finally has a stable place to live. She has a job that has been verified. She's enrolled in care. She's tested negative since the original violation in April. So
Yeah,
you.
but
Sorry.
look,
Next witness.
My
I feel
client.
like we're trying to set the table that they dropped the ball on her, that they didn't give her what she needed. She
What
was
did you
a
want to tell the court
COVID
about
victim in a way.
Ponce de Leon?
Ponce de Leon, I never missed care appointments. I had never had any scheduled. So I don't know how I could miss any appointments when none of them were ever scheduled for me to miss.
What assurances can you give the court that you'll comply with orders of the court?
I'm complying with them now, and I plan to keep complying with them. When I violated, I was out maybe 20 days, I was homeless, jobless. I didn't have any, I didn't even have new socks or underwear. I had nothing, nothing.
How did COVID affect your life?
When I first got out of jail,
Well, let's talk about that and then we'll talk about any others.
okay, in February of 2020, COVID heavily impacted my life.
Tell
How
Lord,
so?
Driving back and forth to work, not being able to,
you
not being able to work.
were able to get
Driving.
vaccinated?
No, I didn't get vaccinated until I got rearrested in February of 21 and I got vaccinated in jail.
Did you ever come down with COVID?
No.
Lucky.
Lucky.
Is there anything else you want to tell the court about the,
Now we had to, what do you call it? Quarantine a few times because family members, close family members had gotten COVID and we were near them. But my daughter and I never caught it.
is there anything else you wanted to tell the court regarding the positive UA you gave?
Superhuman.
I regret using, I was in a low place. I had nothing. I was hanging out with people who didn't care about me.
Tell the court what you're asking the court to do.
I'm asking you to go off Ms. Ashbrook's recommendation.
You're the candidate for treatment now?
Yes, yes, I do. I was only out 20 days when I violated, so I didn't really have a chance. I didn't even have a phone to call for NA meetings or call for rides or do anything. I literally had nothing.
You said you had a phone.
That's
You're paying
all.
a phone bill.
No questions for the defendant.
And what did you learn in Lifeline?
I learned how to deal with triggers. I learned how to say no. I learned how to be more assertive.
That was before you got out and had this problem with the homelessness and everything else.
That's before I got out and violated with the technical dirty UA, correct? Yes.
Redirect.
No.
Any other witnesses?
Yes, sir. You rest.
Do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, just argument.
Before we conclude, I do want to call Ms. Archibald back about
Ms. Ashbrook.
Ms. Ashbrook, excuse me. Ms. Ashbrook, I apologize. Ma'am, what was the protocol for your office during COVID about how to deal with notifying probationers about their obligations and like the defendant in this case?
They were reporting by phone. And we would go through the same things we would go through with them if they were reporting in person, but it was all through by phone.
Did you have any knowledge about the any virtual method to attend NA or AA?
I did, but I wasn't her officer then.
So we're saying she had
So you
a
don't know whether
crappy
the other
one
officer
before
knew or
this
not?
lady.
No,
This lady's an
sir.
upgrade. Who knew?
Okay. Well, what was your knowledge about that availability? Just for my information.
Yes. I tell the people in my caseload, if they have to do
Dirty
to
as
do
hell.
NAAA meetings, they can do them online and just email me a copy of the meetings. And that's
About
what
when
they've
did
been
that-
doing.
About when did that start in 2020? Or did it start in 2020?
I'm not aware. I'm sorry.
Okay. It started at some point and now that's the practice,
Yes, sir.
unless people can come in safely at this point.
Correct. Well, the people are
Yes, sir.
reporting, people are reporting in person now, but most
Right.
of the NAAA meetings are attended online.
Counsel, any follow-up questions based on the court's inquiry?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
State, all right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, state's argument?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. At this time, the state would be asking for an incarceration sentence in the Department of Corrections. This defendant has been given multiple opportunities to comply with the court's order and the court's allowing her to remain in the community. She was originally placed on probation in February of 2020 in order to do a substance abuse evaluation and any recommended treatment within about a 2-month period or just over a 2-month period. She violated that probation by not attending the substance abuse treatment program that she was supposed to attend. After that, she was still given the chance to remain in the community and not be violated in court. She again violated by getting a new charge of possession of meth and possession of paraphernalia, as well as on that particular violation that she had not complied with her community service work obligation. She was given the opportunity through a downward departure sentence to again not be sentenced to prison time. She was allowed to complete the Lifeline program to give an opportunity for treatment in the Lifeline program in the jail and for aftercare, and was released back to the community, even though she scored out to prison at that point, where we are today, because she again failed to comply with the community obligations of completing the terms of her probation by once again testing positive for methamphetamine and then failing to comply with her NA meeting requirements. The only thing that I've heard here today, Your Honor, from this defendant is that she is blaming probation for not informing her of how to complete her probationary term. She had said she didn't know that she was allowed to do them virtually, or she wasn't told where to go for her community service, or that she had only been out of jail for 20 days and therefore she gave in to taking methamphetamine. She has been given opportunity after opportunity for treatment. She has not availed herself of that treatment and only now wants it to try to avoid being sentenced to a guideline sentence in prison because she has failed to complete anything 3 different times that she's been given this opportunity. So the state believes at this point the appropriate sentence is Department of Corrections.
I have 2 questions for the state. Number one, my recollection is that things shut down with COVID in mid-March of 2020.
Yes, sir.
And for a period of time there, they were scrambling to get things organized. Do you have any direct knowledge of what was available for probationers during those first few months of COVID?
I agree
from
with you.
mid-March on?
It's
So
definitely
I'll
a
give you
combination of
February
stuff.
into mid-March, but I'm just curious. Do you have any personal knowledge?
I don't. I actually was not even in the circuit in that time, so I'm not sure what they had available over here. I do know that that probably was taken into account when she got the technical letter to the court, and that was why she was probably allowed to remain in the community and not have a violation filed on her then. But I can tell you that I know that probation has accommodated the COVID shutdown by, as Ms. Ashbrook testified, doing phone meetings, and that the services have switched over to virtual meetings. So she still had the opportunity to complete her task, or at least not to violate with new task, because that certainly has nothing to do with COVID, that she got new charges on her or got positive UAs. So we still would stand by our recommendation for Department of Corrections.
Second question.
I
do
don't
you
think
know,
prison's
or
the answer.
Actually, this might be more appropriately directed to the clerk. Do you know what any credit this young lady might have at this?
Yes, sir, I do. For the 19 CF 5609 case, she has 460 days of credit, and for the 21 CF 642 case, she has 382 days of credit, and those are effective as of today.
All right, counsel.
Judge, she didn't blame the probation office. She blamed the circumstances in her life that led to being able to not being able to contact probation office and having to drive back and forth, and the problems with her child and her family life and her inability to pay money. I just don't think they proved a knowing violation.
Well, Your Honor, I'm going to object to that. We have an admission here.
She's just arguing here. That's for the court.
She's holding her hand up, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
With I guess the technical violation she's talking about, care. I wasn't even allowed to go to court for that. So I didn't even know that was a violation. I mean, there was never an appointment made.
Right. Well, ma'am, I think I need to start with this observation.
Oh,
In
here we go.
2019, you got arrested among the different charges for carrying concealed firearm, DWLS, which means driving with your license suspended. It could have been revoked, canceled, or disqualified for whatever reason, also or otherwise. Also, possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of amphetamine or methamphetamine. Then in 2021, you got another arrest for possession of paraphernalia and possession of amphetamine or methamphetamine. Now in spring of 2022, you get out of Lifeline, where you're given all the basic information about how to get into recovery and maintain recovery. And 20 days later, you violate for methamphetamine.
Yes, sir.
Same substance, same problem, with new information, new opportunity, and repeated opportunities. And I give you I'm going to conclude, just as a matter of common sense, that early on in March, April, things shut down. And I'm going to give you that it was hard to get into doing anything to comply with some of the court obligations at that time, because some of the programs were likely shut down. And I don't know how quickly, and there's been no information provided here today as to exactly when the programs like NA or AA started doing virtual stuff. It started relatively quickly in a lot of places, but not everywhere. So I'll give you that for at least a while, that was problematic. But here we are again, and then you've dealt with a lot of tragedy in your life, with the loss of your daughter's
Good to see you, Rick.
father and the loss of income from the child support. Those are all significant stressors. The one thing that I'm sure Lifeline taught you was you cannot allow stressors to become an excuse to use.
When I had done now, I've given up. I mean, my whole world had gotten flipped upside down because I had plans to, get the whole family back together. I mean, my boyfriend at the time, we were supposed to all move back in together, but he was living with another female. I got out and I was homeless, and I'd given up. And it wasn't until Miss Ashford
That's
lit a
incredibly
fire underneath
unfortunate.
me and, told me to get my crap together, and
it looks
I
like
did.
you're headed in that direction.
yeah.
The state's position is too little, too late, is essentially what they're arguing. And in all candor, that's arguably true. You've been given multiple opportunities. I want to compliment you on getting stuff together and starting to work it. But the consequence here has to be for what happened. And this is not to disparage any opportunities that you have or goals that you might set for yourself, because your future is ahead of you.
May I speak really quick?
Go
They
ahead.
did offer me drug court, but I don't have a vehicle right now, and driving or getting a ride to and from work and then to and from drug court 4 times a week, plus, going to 2 to 3 other times for drug tests each week,
Good job, Dallas.
plus
Hang in
going
there.
to see the judge 2 times a month. That's the only reason why I didn't take that, because I don't have the means to do that. I
Right.
would fail because I don't have a vehicle.
Well, hopefully this will avoid any of those problems. But the point is, you still need to make a commitment to yourself to do your meetings, get a sponsor, get a home group. Because at this time, I do find you guilty of violating your probations. Your probation will be revoked. You'll be adjudicated guilty. You'll be sentenced to 21 months in a state prison with credit for time served, 460 days on 19-5-6-0.
Oh, Jonathan, really? God, I'm losing my job, my house, everything. What do you want me? My hands are right here. My hands are right here. I finally got a job, a phone and everything.
Gentlemen, let her go.
That escalated quickly.
I worked so hard.
Yes, ma'am, you have, and I've recognized that. But
No,
under
you're
the
just gonna get
circumstances,
prison.
you'll be getting out relatively quickly.
Yeah, and I'm gonna not have a job. I'm not gonna have my car. My car's gonna get, I'm.
382 days credit on the 21 case. Any outstanding financial obligations are reduced to judgment. You'll be required to pay $100 cost of prosecution per case. In addition, that'll all be imposed and reduced to a lien.
I'm just gonna lose everything I just worked so hard for.
I'm sorry. Advise of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed.
I mean, she doesn't have to do the whole
Pardon?
21 months.
It was 362 days, or 382, excuse me.
And 460 on the other.
Are you willing to make a finding of indigency for purposes of appeal?
Certainly.
Can I have a few days to get my stuff together and get it safe before you send me off to prison? I mean, I'll lose everything, all my clothes. I mean, everything. I just bought a car and I can't drive it because it's not legal. I mean, I'm gonna lose everything.
So,
And I
do you have any
no
objection?
family here.
Yes, sir. Once she's been adjudicated and committed to the Department of Corrections, she can't be remanded up for a later date. She has to go into custody today.
Damn.
I don't believe it's discretionary.
On what basis?
That once they've been sentenced to Department of Correction, then they're remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections. So the Department of Corrections is the only person that would have the authority to release her from that.
Well, in that case, we move to stay the introduction of the judgment until Monday. Whatever time Monday the court wants.
I'm gonna lose that.
And Your Honor, we would object. I mean, the defendant came in today to do an open plea and asked for a sentencing. She decided to do an open plea without knowing what that sentence was going to be. And now we've gone through this sentencing hearing. She's already been adjudicated on this. She's been found guilty of the violation, and she's already been committed to the Department of Corrections. At this point, she needs to be remanded into custody, just as every other defendant is required to be.
Still before the court has jurisdiction.
All right. I'm going to vacate the judgment at this point in order you to be back next Thursday at 9 a.m. This sentence will be imposed, but
What?
if you fail to appear on that date and time, a warrant for your arrest will be issued where you'll face an additional 5 years in prison per case.
Wow.
So it could be a whole lot more than 21 months. Because in reality, with the credit that you have, under the circumstances, you will be required to serve. I'm trying to think, 21 months is
The judge said, F
a
you.
year and 9 months. So that'd be
DA.
roughly with 85% gain time, probably get released in 5 months or so. Yes, not certain. But at any rate, you need to be back here next Thursday. That's the 25th of August at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, we would ask that at least she be ordered to come back this Friday for sentencing in case, we understand that you're filling in for Judge Clark, but in case his business has been wrapped up and he's back next week, we would need to make sure that she's sentenced in front of Your Honor, since that's where the plea occurred.
Well, if under these circumstances, I made the finding
The
and
judge is like,
I'll be back one way or the other. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
this judge has had somebody in his family deal with drugs because he has been extremely sympathetic to her and her plight. I mean, good for him.
In that conclusion, I'm taking into account the probation officer's comments and suggestions as well.
The prosecutor was basically telling the judge, you can't do that.
Next case, please.
And judge said, oh yeah, how about this then? Wow. Damn. Didn't see that coming. Some of you said you saw it coming. I did not see that coming. Ooh, buddy. Done and done on her. And then she was with some other shit about like,
Joshua Alton, case number 21 CF 3697.
can we get Joshua some clothes
Negotiated
that fit?
in this case would be that he would commit the violation, be reinstated, probation
Watch for
modified.
that.
The first 3 months will be on community control 2 sanctions.
All right, and what are the alleged violations?
The last violations would be that he did not report when he was supposed to report. He took his time in reporting.
Definitely, Andy.
All right.
Didn't report it immediately upon release from jail, and he waited approximately 3 or 4 days before reporting in.
Got it. All right, sir, if you'll raise your right hand to be sworn. You swear
Is
affirm
this
testimony
attorney on
you
the
give the
phone right
truth,
now?
whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
And please speak up loud and clear. State your name.
Judge Walton.
And Ms. Rotten, did you hear me explain the hearing rights to others who entered a plea earlier this morning? Please answer out loud.
I'm sorry, sir.
Did you hear me explain the hearing rights to others who entered a plea this morning?
Yes, sir.
Do I need to go over them again for you?
Yes, sir.
And I have a written plea agreement here. Is this your signature on it?
Yes, sir.
You read all this before you signed it?
Did.
All right. So do you have any questions about any of the issues relating to your plea
No, sir.
or the rights that you're giving up?
No, sir.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to a violation hearing, all of your violation hearing rights, and the right to appeal?
And I
guilt?
can't believe
However, you keep the right
that
to
the
appeal fundamental
prosecutor
issues or
even
issues
kind of
of
turned the
sentencing
screws a
error.
little bit, saying you, well,
If
you are
had
kind
enough
of
time to
filling
talk to
in.
Your attorney about your decision. Are you satisfied with the advice given?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Has anyone promised you anything other than what has been said here today and included on your plea agreement
I
to get you
didn't.
to plead? Have you been threatened or made to plead when you don't want to? You had any medicine, drugs, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
I hope
You've been
not.
committed to a mental health facility. And you understand with community control too, there'll be $1 a day fee while you're on that period, in addition to the other court costs that are involved. All right. So why didn't you report in as soon as you were released from
I
custody?
think so.
I didn't understand when I needed to report. I was trying to get a hold of him. I didn't successfully manage to able to contact him in time, and I was violated for that.
So
Okay.
when did you get,
Well said.
were you released the same day you were in court and entered your plea?
I was released on Thursday, and then it was Monday.
Well, was that the same day that you were in court? It was the day that you got out of jail.
I wish we could have seen the prosecutor's face.
Is that,
like a
can the clerk
Thursday.
verify that?
Wish we could have
He was
seen her
released
face.
on March 3rd and his plea.
I heard her do that. Wow,
On
man.
March 3rd.
All right. And had you ever been on probation before?
Yes, sir.
So you knew the basic thing to do on probation is report in.
I didn't understand the community.
He's
control
bidding on
aspect.
a
Well, community
Muddy
control is
Waters
even more
guitar.
strict than probation. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
In other words, you go home, you don't leave home unless and until you get permission from your officer to do so, and you leave and return at designated times, not later than, or not earlier than the departure time, not later than the return time. You understand that?
Yes,
You
sir.
can't even go to your next door neighbor's yard. You got to stay in your house. All right. So I find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made. There's a
That was
sufficient
the
factual basis to support
wrong
the
thing to
plea.
say.
And I have a score sheet here with 31 total sentence points. Any
What?
objection? All right. This is his second violation.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
All right. And so, sir, you need to be attentive to what your obligations are, whether it's probation or community control,
Only if you tell me
That's
it
on
should
you.
be, Dave.
to try to get yourself out of this trouble and get these cases behind, or this case behind you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Is that the
And at this
prosecutor
time,
right
sir,
there?
I find you
That
guilty
we
of
see in the
violating
back
your
of her head?
probation. Your probation will be reinstated. It'll be include an additional requirement during the first 3 months
She's,
that you'll be on community control
she's
too,
bad.
with those sanctions and $1 per day cost.
That's
for
got to
that.
be her.
All prior sanctions that have been imposed are reimposed to the extent they
Right.
have not been satisfied. That includes any financial matters and any other requirements that you were ordered to do in your last violation hearing. You'll be required to
The attorney also works as
pay
a
your fees, the $250 public defender and cost
customer service
prosecution fees along with
representative.
the application fee. Do you need a hearing about whether any of those fees are reasonable? All right, so those are ordered. And you're advised of your right to appeal within 30 days. You have the right to an attorney if you're not.
He's like, Your Honor, I'm ordering a pizza. I'm on hold right now. Can we just give me a minute? I'll be off soon.
Ward 11 will be appointed. Thank you, sir. And you need to report to probation this afternoon. Community control, you
what?
need to go.
I'm glad
on what phone number
we got
will
to
you
see
be
this.
Able to be
No.
contacted at.
It's 850-955-1405.
All right. We have that from probation. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Angel Bocanegra.
Whoa. Watch the way you talk, lady.
And
I'm
Angel
glad we got to
Bocanegra
see
here.
this, by the way. Some of
What
you were
status?
asking what the courtroom is. It's let's see. We are in 14th Judicial Circuit of Florida. I'll copy this and drop it in the old Alinka Ruski. So let's get on back in here. Look, he's just standing there on the phone still. That's what you want with an attorney that can't get off the phone during your case.
You had a notice to appear.
Notice to appear.
Yes, I have not heard from her.
Was the notice served?
I think that younger blonde lady that walked through the camera is the prosecutor.
Issued capias, set bond the amount of 5,000 cash and professional.
Anthony Fick.
I know it wasn't as funny as watching Licking every day, but I felt like that was a good case that we all got to watch. We all saw it play out. We saw it develop.
At this point, the state's recommendation, if he chooses to enter an admission.
What the hell just happened, Mikey? What the? Let me fix this thing. What the hell? StreamYard. The thing that always works so great. Just poop the bed over here. Let me fix this real fast. Bastards. Mikey will sue StreamYard before the end of next year. Just saying. Get back over here. But yeah, I felt like that's good, man. We need to see stuff like that every once in a while.
He had a positive UA for methamphetamine on 6/24 of 2020.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Mayday, 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 mayday.
Thank you, Horrible Humor, on a like a 2 or 3 day run here with us. All right, let's pull that down. We'll pull this up. We're about to leave, so we'll check this out. We'll check this out, yo. We'll check this out. Why is this not working? Do. Oh, because they're leaving. That's why. Bastards. Why is the judge looking all sassy at us? Okay, well, since there's no volume over there, and this, that, and the other, baby, maybe, just maybe, that's our cue to leave. You think? I do, because today is Wild Wormin Wednesday. Tons of wild wormins, like these two on the screen, and a lot like the one we just saw in court. Oh, I already paid my $1,000. Oh, for God's sakes. That was good. It was a lot of fun. You know, we need those every once in a while. I feel like, you know, that's the way, you know, every once in a while we got to do something like that. That's a good one. It's a real good one. So is that. We're going to be heading back here for Wild Wormin Wednesday. Don't forget. Thank you, Iowa golfer Lisa, because Mikey didn't put it up. He's a liar. He's a damn dirty liar. A lot of good stuff today. A lot of fun stuff. A thing that happened with a 7-Eleven being set on fire by a half-naked woman. All that and more today on Wild Wormin Wednesday. We need you guys to be there, because without you, there's no us. And without us, what the hell would you guys be doing right now? If you already subscribed, do so now. We got a case on the YouTubes. We got to get that to 1,000 so we can monetize it and try and make pennies on the dollar on these videos. Anything else? Creed.
I married your fat sister.
All right. Until next time, everybody. Remember, you could have been that prosecutor that got owned, son.
Holy mackerel!
What's going on, mate? Got to get it where you can get it, no matter what it is. You guys are wrong. Y'all are just